Nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you.
Hey, thank you for watching Power to the Pod, where we are committed to an intellectual integrity and a moral honesty. I'm your host, Superior, and once again, thank you for watching. Now, in this video, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see this video yet. I have not seen this video. I just seen the title, and I wanted it to be a surprise to both of us. Okay, it says, and this is from the Breakfast Club. North Carolina governor candidate Mark Robinson believes black people owe reparations. Black people owe reparations. You heard me right. He believes black people owe, not own, but they need to give reparations. I didn't even want to watch it. I was like, you know what? We gonna have to dissect this together, because I have never been the one to want to say that black people cannot be black. I never been the one to be like, you know what? You're not black no more. I am revoking your black card. You are not going to be labeled as an African American in my books. But if this is true, he's gonna be the first one. So without any further ado, let's go ahead, watch this video, and let's have that conversation.
Well, Donkey of the Day for Tuesday, May 2nd goes to the current Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson. He's also running for Governor of North Carolina. Good morning, Mark. You know I love the Carolinas. I'm Carolina all day, South Carolina to be exact. So North Carolina is our cousins. So it disturbs me when I hear someone from home talking crazy. And Mark Robinson is indeed talking crazy. See, there's a lot of conversations happening nowadays about reparations. I'm a person who believes that pessimism never wins any battle. So even though I know this country will never, ever pay black people what they owe, I speak optimism, because we all know one of the greatest sins of this country was the slave trade, and atonement is needed in the form of reparations. Even Donald Trump acknowledges black people built this country, and we're just starting to get the credit for it. Listen.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that.
That's right.
You're just starting to get, you built the nation.
That's right.
We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it.
Wow.
Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world. And don't just stop at credit. We'll take credit, cash, Bitcoin, EBT, and the credit is great, but until there's some financial compensation, that credit is as worthless as an NFT. Now, Mark could make history as the first black governor of North Carolina, a state that is almost 67% white and a little over 21% black, but he's a Republican, so he don't really give a damn about any black votes, okay? The Republican Party in North Carolina is 89% white, and I was looking at some stats from October 29th, 2022, and North Carolina had about 7.4 million registered voters, and their partisan affiliation was kind of equally split between three parties: Republican, Democrats, unaffiliated. It's 34% Democrat, 36% unaffiliated, 30% Republican, about 0.7% registered to another party. Notoriously red state, so Mark probably feels like I'm Republican, all I need is these white folks. But imagine if you can get majority of the white Republican voters to vote and, you know, play a little identity politics and get some of the black people to vote for you too. Sounds like a good idea. Well, Mark don't care if you Negroes vote for him, because if he did, he wouldn't be saying things that would turn Negroes off. And one thing that turns black people off is any talk against reparations. But not only is Mark against black people getting reparations, he thinks we owe. I can't make this kind of stuff up. Let's listen.
Oh my God.
There's some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations. Nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody, after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody fought wars and died for you. Those folks on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, carrying American flags, take that, Colin Kaepernick, living in a society that he could scarcely acknowledge. something that he has never known, living with a bigotry that none of us can imagine. Carried American flags on that bridge. And when they were hit upside the head with nightsticks and shot with water hoses and knocked to the ground, they got up and picked those flags up and kept marching. And they did it for you. Nobody owes you anything. If anybody owes, it's you.
Come on, Raleigh. Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa. Okay. We gonna have to speak on that. Wow. Okay. Okay, he said a lot. And what's interesting is when you're conversating with people who uses truth, like what he said is not a lie. You know, there's a lot of our ancestors that had to deal with a lot, that had to fight, knowing that what they were doing, they weren't going to see the results. Their kids may not see the results. They're hoping that it will somehow, some way make a change for us. Well, my generation before, you know, that takes a lot to understand and appreciate. But to use that truth and to flip it around into you're asking for reparations, but what you need to focus on is what you need to appreciate. Those are two separate things. Maybe he doesn't understand what reparations mean. It means to make amends, to set right financially, to make whole. Do you understand how unwhole African Americans were since like the emancipation? Well, if you want to go further back, but ever since then, technically, you know, blacks are free. They weren't never free. Like on purpose, not because they were lazy and they didn't want to work. Like they were purposely pushed down. You don't think that's... And then with slavery, like literally free labor, like millions of slaves, not just like 10 slaves like Candace Owens likes to think. Like, yeah, two, you know, slave owners, it was like maybe 20 slaves in like 200 something years. Like, no. That's another video.
Like black people owe reparations. That was Riley Freeman from the Boondocks booing, and I'm glad we used that, boo, because what in the Uncle Ruckus is going on in North Carolina, okay? It don't matter if North Carolina is a red or a blue state. If Mark Robinson becomes governor, you can guarantee it won't be a black state, all right? All those things he spoke on, you know, the people who fought during civil rights, the brothers and sisters, civil rights marchers who went through the hell called Bloody Sunday for us to get a sliver of freedom, they're part of the reason we are owed, okay? Yes, we owe them, but not the way this country owes us. And we repay them for fighting for what so many of them came to want, and that is reparations, okay? Mark Robinson telling black people that we owe reparations is like when your parents used to tell you they were beating our ass for our own good. No, okay? You did nothing but cause me trauma that I ended up unpacking in therapy later. The nerve of Mark Robinson to say we owe reparations because we benefited from the freedom. I got freedom in quotation marks, okay, air quotes, all right, you know, free-ish. Okay, a new alt-slave drama brought to you by Kenya Barris, coming soon to BET+. I mean, oppression of black people 100% still exists, right? When black people are imprisoned at exceptionally high numbers, more likely to be arrested for nonviolent offenses. I mean, we make our case for our citizenship every day, make our case for our humanity every day. There is still a system of white supremacy in place that causes us to make cases for our survival every day. I mean, when you are still being denied opportunities because of the color of your skin, it's kind of hard to tell me that I owe. All right, that's like getting sex from a hooker. She gives me an STD and then, you know, asks for gratuity for the gonorrhea. Okay? Mark Robinson said we should be paying because there were people that fought for us and took beatings and, you know, got hosed down and lost their lives for us to be free. Those people were majority black. He couldn't be talking about white people, could he? I mean, there were definitely white people out there marching with black folks during the civil rights movement, but they were marching with us to free us from the oppression of white supremacy. Keyword white. Okay, Mark really said black people owe reparations. We owe, okay? The white people should get paid for what their own people did? Huh?
Oh, man. Hey. I think let's get back let's focus here. Charlemagne, he made a really good point. The one thing that we owe, and the one thing that gives me the courage, the energy, the bravery to continue to educate myself and to share this knowledge and this information as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? I don't know everything. I will one day, but not right now. I don't know everything. It feels like I have a duty. I would be wasting my life to a certain extent if I didn't try to continue to push the mark for our people, for my people. And at this point, when I say my people, I'm not just talking about black people, but, you know, for the sake of this conversation, when it comes to reparations and what was supposed to be owed years ago, centuries ago, if the 40 acres and a mule thing would have actually went through, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation. But honestly, if they would have given that, it would have just been stolen right back. So honestly, we might be in this conversation again, but that was never given. So now their kids had to fight for it. And then their kids had to fight for it. Then their kids had to fight for it. And what disingenuous people want is for us to just forget about it. This is why Ron DeSantis is trying to, erase black history, because if people are still learning and educating themselves at a young age about how this country was built, then that conversation is never going to end. But like, wait, whoa, hold on, time out. We did what? We did what to these people? Nothing was what? We got to do something. If their white kids start to understand this, unfortunately, it takes white people to be on our side to actually create some change. But Ron DeSantis understands that. He doesn't want that. So it feels like it's my duty to continue the best way I can. I may not reach 1 million people. I may not reach, Malcolm X levels, Huey P. Newton levels, James Baldwin levels. I may not do that. But if I can just 1 or 2 people, that's all I need. I did my part. I did the best that I can do. I mean, that's why you're watching me on this video. So my question is, what are you doing? Let me know in the comments. But I want to say he's not black no more. If you have the nerve to try to flip something using our own history to try to manipulate us into thinking that we don't deserve actual reparations, but just accept the freedom, quote unquote, the freedom that we have, and that should be enough. No, don't think so. Don't think so. Like Martin Luther King said, and I'm paraphrasing, cut the check. I don't care what kind of check it is. Like Charlemagne said, it could be EBT check, cut the check. It could be Bitcoin, cut the check. If you want to cut me a check, actually cut the check. But something is going to be made new. And if it's not going to be given to my generation, it's going to be continuously fought by my kids and my kids' kids and my kids' kids. But at some point, that check, that reparations, is going to get paid.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to join the conversation by subscribing. Make sure to tune in next time, and like always, power to you, power to me, power to the people, power to the pod.